What's going on, guys, and welcome to Who to Sign For. Now in this series I'm giving you my recommendations on what players to sign for a specific team in career mode. But before we go on, I will say that the signings you'll see aren't designed to be realistic, and that the player ratings and potentials of the players may vary depending on what database you're using and how they perform for you during the season. Obviously you don't have to follow all the tips. This is really just a set of guidelines to give you a hand if you're stuck for ideas and want some suggestions on what players you could sign for a certain club. This is mainly aimed at those of you out there who may be new to the game and just need a little bit of advice, or for those of you out there who just want a few recommendations on what players you could sign for a team that you may be using in career mode this year. So yes, in today's episode of WTSF, we are going to take a look at the La Liga champions, Atletico Madrid, obviously Diego Simeone, the long-standing manager from the Vicente Calderon to the Metropolitano. The Argentine has been in charge for, I believe now, a decade, and what a job he has done with Atletico Madrid. I think it's 2 league titles, there's Champions League final many years ago as well. Just a fantastic tenure for Atletico Madrid with Diego Simeone at the helm, and obviously in the team they're a 5-star side, one of the best sides in the game. They've got a budget around £67.5 million of wage budget alteration, but of course with a fantastic side and a decent transfer budget as well. Maybe not the sort of transfer budget you'd ordinarily expect with a 5-star team, 67 mil. It's still a decent budget. Their objectives in the first season, very strong indeed. Retain La Liga, win the Copa Del Rey, and reach the final of the Champions League as well. Yeah, pretty tough objectives in your first season with Atletico Madrid. So I'd definitely say this Atletico Madrid side is one of the 5-star teams you can use in the game that you can have a long-term project with. And it could also be quite a bit of a challenge as well, due to the objectives and also the average age of the squad too. Now, as I run you through the squad, Atletico play a 3-5-2 slash 5-3-2, depending on how you want to operate your wide midfielders. And what you'll notice is that it's a good side with many players in their prime right now, but also a few players that are aging, and quite a lot of their starters that are in their late 20s or in their 30s as well. Again, it's a really great team. It's got some okay depth as well, but it does have some decent young talent as well, including the man we just went past there, João Felix, one of the highest potential players in the game. He is definitely your long-term successor for your aging duo of Luis Suarez and Antoine Griezmann. Now, they've got a lot of players that deals coming at the end of the year as well, quite a lot of noteworthy players too. You've got Felipe, the Brazilian centre-half, Versálico, the Croatian fullback as well, and of course, lest we forget, Luis Suarez, his deal at come the end of the year. Now, personally, I'll give 3 contracts to these players that are aging, that have their deals come the end of the year. Christian Gomez, he's a young goalkeeper with some high 70 potential. Moreno as well, I'll give him a new contract extension. And also, of course, you can't not give this guy a new contract. Giuliano Simeone, one of Diego Simeone's 3 sons. I think he's got 3 sons. Yeah, you got to give him a contract, man. Keep Diego Simeone's son here for the long term. As for Luis Suarez, now this is totally up to you. He's 88 overall, so one of the best forwards in the game, but at 34 years old, he is due to decrease in the very first season. His longevity speaks for itself, there's no doubt about that. He continues to operate at a very high level, even now in his mid-30s. The choice really is yours. If you want to extend a contract, you can. Just keep in mind you probably will have to negotiate a wage increase, or if you want to let him go at the end of the season on a free transfer, that's also your choice as well. Really, it's personal preference whether you want to keep the Uruguayan star-studded forward here, cash in the first transfer window, or let him play out the season and leave on a free come the end of it. My personal choice will be the third of those options. Keep him here for the year and then let him go on a free transfer come the end of the season, depending on how he's got on for you during the campaign. So we've got loads and loads and loads of players on the transfer list. Yeah, loads of players that are either deals that come at the end of the year or players that simply don't make the cut here. You'll notice with Atletico Madrid, they've got quite a lot of players who, they're not exactly what you call star-studded. Like, they're all right. They're pretty decent as squad players, if you will, and we see the likes of them here. You know, Hector Herrera, Versálico, the Croatian fullback we mentioned earlier. I like Versálico a lot, by the way. Got loads of energy, but I still would sell him in the first window. These are the sort of players which personally I'd recommend cashing in on. They're on relatively high contracts. They probably don't merit, in my opinion, the money is worth more than them being in your squad right now. So I'd sell quite a lot of the players, and again, we sold Herrera, Versálico, and also Saponjic straight away. But in terms of new signings with Atletico Madrid. Where would I look to strengthen this team? Well, again, Atletico play a 3-5-2. You could look for some replacements for, again, your 30s duo of Luis Suarez and Antoine Griezmann. With João Felix on the bench, I don't think you need to do that. My personal recommendation is a new central midfielder as part of this Atletico Madrid team. There are several names I had on the shortlist. Rodri from Manchester City would be the standout, absolutely class holding mid. But if you're looking for budget and looking for a great signing on the cheap, look no further than this guy. I'm a massive fan of this guy. It is the AC Milan midfielder Frank Cassidy. His deal is up come the end of the year. Obviously, there's a lot of rumours, a lot of talks. He'll be leaving AC Milan come the end of the season. Of course, if he doesn't sign a contract extension, that is incredibly likely. But the Ivorian is just 24 years old. He's already 84 overall. I love his traits of solid player, team player, and leadership as well. And as a holding mid, defensively, this guy's great, but physically, 93 stamina, 86 strength, 84 aggression as well, with a 4-star weak foot 2. In your 3-5-2, this guy is going to slot right in to that holding midfield role there alongside your 4 midfielders with him. Obviously, in the formation, you might have to adjust it, as I always say. I definitely recommend doing this to get rid of the exclamation marks on players' names, and therefore you can have them as operating at a higher level and not a temporary decrease. So, for example, Koke here, we just pushed him up to LCM so Kessie can play in the natural CDM role whilst maintaining the 3-5-2. But even so, yeah, Kessie, I definitely recommend it. You can get him for under the valuation. We signed him for £40 million. His weekly wage in the game with AC Milan is quite low, so he doesn't require a big bump, a pay increase. It's definitely the right call, in my opinion. If you want to go big and sign again the likes of Rodri, for example, by all means go for it. But if you're looking for a budget deal, but a great midfielder that's good enough to slot right into your first team and still has potential to get better as well, look no further than Frank Kessie. For 40 mil, it's an absolute bargain. So following that, we sold Felipe to Barcelona along with Vasalco. That's 24.5 mil raised there for the Brazilian centre-half. And after the season ticket money came in and all those sales as well, we had around £119 million to reinvest in new players. And my next recommendation after the sale of Felipe would be a new centre-half. Now, as we know, Atletico Madrid are a fantastic defensive unit, very solid indeed, and operate a really organised structure under Diego Simeone. But I would recommend a new centre-half, a young talent for the future that's already good enough now. Where else do you need to look other than in Turin? Yes, Matthias de Ligt of Juventus, from Ajax to Juve. You will have to pay a pretty penny to get him in. I think we paid around 85 million to sign the Dutch centre-half. Again, his wages aren't the highest though, which means you won't need to put him on a bumper pay packet. However, this guy is literally the perfect fit for Atletico Madrid, for a young player with high potential. He's got 90 potential to become one of the best centre-halves in the game. He's just an absolutely brilliant defender in this game. Just 21 years old, already 85 overall, but again, at just 21 with 94 strength already. At his peak, he'd have 99 strength. And look, Hermoso is a great young talent, obviously operating alongside Jose Maria Jimenez and Savic as well. That's a decent back three right there, but there is an upgrade on Hermoso. His free rating's higher, and again, his potential being 90 as well. Having Hermoso coming off the bench, eventually he'll replace Stefan Savic as part of your back three, so it'll be Hermoso, Jimenez and de Ligt. But in the first season, a back three of de Ligt, Jimenez and Savic, that is a brilliant midfield trio. So with the money remaining with Atletico Madrid, I just decided to bring in a load of young Spanish talents. Really, the first one's Jeremy Pino. We did a straight swap with Jeffrey Kondogbia, who I put on the transfer list initially at the start of the episode, but unfortunately couldn't negotiate a sale for him, so I just swapped him out to Villarreal to sign Jeremy Pino. Kondogbia is a decent holding mid, 79 overall. He's in his late 20s, so not bad, but he's not going to get any better, and you've got a decent amount of midfielders here anyway. But Jeremy Pino, I definitely recommend that swap deal there if that's what you want to pull off, because Pino has 87 potential. He's a class young talent in the game. One of the best young Spanish players you can pick up. We sold Alex Centelles for £10 million from Almeria as well. This is a young left back with 85 potential. He could definitely operate as a left midfielder in this team as well as part of your 3-5-2. Again, he's showing great potential time. He's at 21. He's going to get really good in the future. He's got 85 stamina already, so in his peak, he's going to be in the mid-90s for stamina. My personal recommendation is give him development development plans initially to get his defensive and attacking work rates both up from medium to high, and then transition him to become a left midfielder. It won't take him too long to do that. I definitely recommend it though as part of this Atletico's 3-5-2. And the other two players we signed were Melamed of Espanyol. Again, another great young Spanish talent in the game with 86 potential. Once again, you'll notice with these guys here, they don't cost us much over the valuation. Clubs in FIFA CM don't hold their young players to ransom. You don't need to spend like double the valuation to get them. You can often get them on the cheap as they're not considered one of the star players in their team, and they're okay selling them for around the valuation. So we signed Melamed with 86 potential, great young winger that can also play through the middle with a lot of pace as well. And the final signing we picked up was Martin Zubamendi of Real Sociedad, very good young central midfielder. And again, whilst we sold Herrera, whilst we swapped Kondogbia out, this guy is 75 overall, just 22 years old. I like him as well because he can play through the spine of the team. With the stats he's got defensively, he's a really, really solid player. So even though he's not 6 foot plus, you could play him as a ball playing centre half if you want. If not, then there's a natural CM or a CDM. The choice really is yours. But on the back of that, there we go. We were finished. We had 3 million in the budget, and in the end, what a window for Atletico. We sold 4 players, what you'd call players with very little upside here other than Saponja, I suppose, for 63 mil. But the signings we made, 6 players coming in, all in their early 20s, 154.5 million pounds. One player's in their teens, sorry, that was Melamed. But yeah, 154.5 mil. It's a lot of money, but the players coming in have got decent quality, either for the reserves or in the case of Delit and Cassidy for the first 11, and really high potential as well. Now, very briefly, one thing I did do is recall Morata and Sol. You'll notice with Atletico, they've got a lot of players that are loaned out right now. If you don't want to do that and you're playing for realism, then by all means, keep them loaned out right now at Chelsea and Juve. But if you're not playing for realism, just want the best strategy, just want the best chance of success, definitely recall them. It'll only cost you about £1 million to bring them back, and they've both got first team quality and go either on your bench or be squad players when you need them to fill in fixture congestion times. So yes, in the end, with Atletico Madrid, a very big transfer window. But the question was, can we hit those strong objectives, retaining La Liga, winning the Copa del Rey, and reaching the final of the Champions League as well? But as we simulate to the end of the season, we can see that there was no European final for Atletico Madrid. No European final whatsoever. No Europa League, no Champions League. But we did win La Liga. However, look in the top left, my manager rating plummeted to 58, and I was like, are you serious? We just won La Liga. We just won La Liga with Atletico, 1 point clear of Barcelona, so no problems with the Catalan Giants this season. However, we did best them by a single point, and then a whopping 14 clear of Sevilla, with Real Madrid finishing in 4th. So La Liga retained. We do it with Simeone's boys. Luis Suarez had 23 goals and 37, and that's why, again, I said earlier during the episode, the choice really is yours what you want to do with the Uruguayan, because even at 34 years old, he's still got such great first team quality. He's 88 overall. He's one of the best forwards in the game. So it's up to you. You're more than welcome to extend his contract. It wouldn't be a bad move. Really, any of the 3 choices there aren't bad moves at all. But we won La Liga. We did not win Super Copa. Whilst it doesn't count towards the objectives, I thought I'd show you it. Lost to Real Madrid in the final. However, we did win the Copa del Rey. We beat Getafe by 3-0. So I was sitting there thinking, how is my manager rating so low? We won the domestic double that the board are asking for. And I guess maybe this is the reason why. In the Champions League, Bayern Munich wanted to beat Chelsea in the final by 3-1. We were knocked out in the round of 16 by Inter Milan by 1-0. Didn't score in 180 minutes and were knocked out in the first knockout round by the Serie A winners. So yeah, I mean, personally, I don't think my manager rating should have dropped that low. Champions League, it's a failure. I'm not going to sit here and try and deny it or sweep it under the rug. But to win the domestic double with Atletico, retaining that La Liga, winning the Copa del Rey, that to me is a good season. I mean, maybe I'm being a little bit too defensive here, but, you know, personally speaking, whilst the Champions League was a bit of a letdown, I don't think that's a bad season at all. Absolutely not. In terms of the signings as well, as I run you through the squad, Matthias de Ligt growing 4 ratings in one season to 89 overall. Come on, guys. Seriously, if you've got the money, you're managing a top-class team in this year's career mode, and you want a young centre-half with first-team quality and potential, Matthias de Ligt is the only guy you need to go after. Frank Cassidy grew a rating as well to 85 overall. Solid, ever-present in the team as well, 52 appearances in all competitions. Melamed grew 3 ratings as well. So yeah, a very decent young Spaniard for the future. And again, after winning the domestic double and laying down the groundwork in the first season, this is why I really like Atletico Madrid as a team to use in this year's FIFA Career Mode. Firstly, the kits are fabulous. I love their goalkeeper kit. The Metropolitano is a glorious stadium. One thing I really like about the stadium too is that before games you'll see the tunnel shots for immersion. Looks really cool indeed. And again, as a 5-star team, the budget isn't the highest. It does have some senior players that need long-term replacements. What I really like about Atletico is that whilst they are a 5-star team, most 5-star teams are sort of like a one and done type of career mode, one season and you're done. With Atletico, you can build a long-term dynasty at the Metropolitano. You still have work to do to become the best team in Spain, let alone the best team in Europe, but it's a great project and a great team to use to rebuild with young talent as well. Had so much fun doing this Who to Sign For episode, I must admit. Atletico Madrid, great team to use in this year's career mode. Highly recommend them. Lots of personal decisions up to you to make, including with the contract of Luis Suarez, but yeah, great team to use this year. Had a lot of fun, and I definitely recommend Atletico Madrid with career mode this year in this FIFA. But that was this episode of Who to Sign For, guys. So a big thank you for watching. Really hope you have enjoyed today's episode, and if you have enjoyed it and appreciated the transfer tips as well, then please do drop a like. Most love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you for the next episode of Who to Sign For very soon.